Paul, super excited to see the new version of Recall. Why don't you give me a walkthrough of how to get started with it?
Sure. Sure. We're on version 3. I've been iterating like crazy because I can. This is the welcome screen when you've either found the app, I've either talked you into buying it, or you've found it on your own. Jason, you actually haven't, even though you really set me up and got this whole ball rolling, you really haven't actually seen all the features I've added to version 3. But I'm going to run through it. So as soon as you download the app, you're going to be hit with this, I guess, onboarding cards to go through to give you some sort of explanation of the app. So the idea is that you're adding tags to contacts so you can find things back, so reverse searching basically. And the nice thing is it actually adds it to your contacts in your iOS contacts app in Notes. So all the data you put in is not lost. So
Right.
Recall, welcome, built for brains like ours. Tag as you go, you meet someone fresh, you just go through and you add some tags. Oh yeah, I'm in a park. I met them through Chris and they are in marketing. Bang. So you remember just one or two of those, you'll be able to refine and shorten your list of people you have to go through. I've also added a fun little feature. I thought I'd gamify it, Tinderfy it. And now I've got a swipe to tag. So you can basically go through and say, review later, so I can delete, which we'll show you in a minute. Or you can then add some tags to that person's name. And that's a swiping process. I've added something called super tags, which is really fun. They're nice pops of like pastel colors, spring themed, that basically let you add little like sub lists that are more prioritized. For example, maybe there's only 10 people you need to contact. VIP, family, that's important. Work. And then for me as a parent, I've got parents in there because I always need to remember parents' names. So that's in there for me. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to get you into swiping. One little tip. I've added a little like sometimes you're hashtagging and you're searching, and it is kind of easy to sort of lose where you're at. And so I've got a very simple reset button, which if you just hit the logo Recall on the top here, it just resets the whole app back to square one. So this is your sort of main page, your landing page. Now, I'd like to give this example. I'm in New York. I'm a photographer. Now I need to remember all the assistants. Who can I contact? And that's always like a struggle for me. So very simply, we go New York. Now we've got everyone in New York. And then I look for the word assistants. There it is. And bang. Now I've got every assistant that I could possibly want in New York that I've ever worked with. And once I go into that contact, the fun bit is I've actually added other hashtags. So if I don't remember who that person is, I could probably look at that and go, oh, he works with Lightroom. That's good to know. So that's its basic core function, is being able to drill down and get to people very quickly. There's a couple of little other benefits I've added that are kind of adjunct to the whole thing, which is, for example, sometimes you just want to look at the last person or last few people you've added to your contact, especially if you're in real estate or you're out mingling, last used. In other words, last entered. So that'll bring up that list for you. And same with tags, last used. Let's go, bang, hit Recall, it resets. Now, let's go into adding a contact. Now, here I've made it also kind of fun where I like the idea that you hand the phone over to someone, let them add the details in. But to make a bit of a talking point about it, I've added tags at the top. So you first of all go in and go, okay, it's Jason Lan here. So it's VIP. I would say he's in NYC, bang. He is a coder. Okay. Now, of course, if you can't spell, you've got issues there. Jason. Now, this is where I would hand that over to him. I'd ask him to take a selfie. Now, ingest it, done with those tags. Very fast, very quick. I've made the fonts in this quite large. So if you're out and about, there's only a few entries you need to worry about. It's very customizable, the app. This is another fun thing. If you don't want to use smart tags, turn them off, bang, gone. Just a much simpler interface. And once you're in those smart groups, you might not want them all. Like for me, I probably don't need work and I don't need friends because, it's just not what I'm using.
You don't need friends.
I've also got something. Well, there's only half a dozen. I'm a parent these days. I see my friends every day. Dyslexic mode, which we're in, just is a softer, easier to read color wave that I've sort of did a bit of basic research around. This is the standard mode, so just in like dark mode, basically. So the next thing I'd love to show you, the other big feature of the app, and these are the sort of the main interface, the ingestion, and then adding tags to existing contacts. Very important. So in this case, this is the Tinder style adding tags. You can do last used, you can do randomized, which I like. So Kenneth, I haven't seen for a long time. I know he's in Amsterdam, so I can just start typing Amsterdam, bang. I know he's an architect. That should come up. That's not spelt right, but that's okay. Now, save. That's been saved. Now, I don't know who this is. If I long hold, it'll bring up some details. I'm going to put them into tag for review. So now let me show you what that little feature does. That drops them into this review to delete. Because you know what? I want to get names out of my contact list. I want to make this efficient.
That's a
Here,
good feature.
I've got a couple of people's names. Yeah. Oh, thank you. So in this case, this person here got in there accidentally. I'm going to say untag. And these ones, select all, delete. Am I sure I want to delete? Yes, delete. Okay. No contacts to review. So that's just a really good, quick, efficient way to clean out because as much as we have a lot of automated tools out there in the world to merge and at the end, it's personal. You need to look at each contact and decide which one's going to be deleted. They're the basic features. I mean,
it's looking amazing, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you. If you think it's really that amazing, I'd like you to hit this button here. It's called Make a Donation. And you can decide what level of benefit this is bringing into your life. Feel free to give me a coffee, some lunch, some founder support. That's all being hooked up. That's on actually version 3.1 coming like the next couple of days. But otherwise, all these features are in the current version that's in the App Store. Any questions?
No, very, very cool. We'll do some follow-up videos just going over some features, but very, very cool. I'm super impressed with the progress.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been so fun. I'm just, this has been the best part-time gig I've ever had.